science, technology, engineering, math. I am a Neanderthal at all of them. But that's not why I'm making this video, because my pure, unadulterated love for the humanities is far greater than my envy for STEM. I recently created a poll for my community tab here on YouTube, and only 20 people voted, but the results are still pretty telling. My question was simple. Which is more impressive? Speak 5 languages fluently or know all of discovered math? Now, either this is just a really stupid question, which it probably is, but let's just look at the difficulty of both prospects. In my opinion, a person who has learned all of math is a lot easier to find than a person who can confidently say and confidently speak 5 languages. There are plenty of teenagers and people in their 20s that have learned all of math. It takes at most 2 decades if you're taking it seriously, from what I've studied and looked up. But speaking 5 languages, 5 languages fluently is something that very few people actually achieve by the end of their life. It's a lot harder to do, and in my opinion, a little bit more impressive. So as always, let's see why I think that. The first argument I'm going to be bringing up is in regards to the educational system, because let's compare, for example, 2 different types of teachers. One, a math professor, and the second type of teacher being a Spanish teacher. I don't think most people would see a math teacher as superior when it comes to knowledge, maybe when it comes to intellect, than a Spanish teacher. And if they were to see a math teacher as superior when it comes to intellect, they would see a Spanish teacher as superior when it comes to, social interactions and being a functioning human being. Not saying that the math teacher can't be a social, really charismatic human being and the Spanish teacher can't be really intellectual, but those are kind of the stereotypes attributed to those jobs, at least here in Romania and from what I've been able to tell. But let's just look at the comparison we're truly making when we're comparing math teacher, Spanish teacher. We're comparing someone who has probably learned all of math, and when I say all of math, maybe the question was a little bit vague as well, because when I say all of math, that's to say going to the University of Mathematics for I don't know how many years, 3, 4, 6, I have no idea. I still need to look into universities and stuff like that, and just learning all of math there. Because I'm pretty sure if you go to university for a couple of years, that is going to eventually get you to the point where you can say, yeah, I know all of discovered math. So we're comparing that, a teacher, somebody who teaches that, to someone who has learned all of one language and admittedly has also learned a lot about the culture and cultural etiquette. That's to say, how to act when you go to Spain, how to act with your fellow Spaniards, and also how to act with Mexicans, people from Honduras. How do you pronounce that in English? I have no idea. From Argentina, from Peru, from Bolivia, Latin America. Most of South America and a little bit of Mexico creeping up in North America. Yeah, they've also learned that. So what we're really comparing is somebody who has learned all of discovered math and at least, I don't know, a bilingual, because that Spanish teacher has learned their native language and Spanish. Or maybe we're comparing somebody who has learned all of discovered math and a really smart monolingual, because there are people in Spain that only speak Spanish and are Spanish teachers and are teaching Spanish to foreign students. So, maybe some people would respect a math teacher more, but some people would also respect a Spanish teacher more. Maybe, also not in terms of knowledge, because maybe teaching Spanish is maybe harder than teaching math, but I don't know. I'm not overly qualified to commentate on this. But that's my first argument. The second point that I would like to make is, of course, the social utility. I love the Pythagorean theorem, and I say that with all of the possible honesty being squeezed out of my heart. But I have never had, and will never have, an opportunity to use it in a social context to my advantage. French, on the other way, not saying that you cannot impress people by listing off some really complicated mathematical formulas, but there is no way in hell that a physicist could ever entertain people by listing off natural phenomena and explaining it away and running his mouth away on that than more than an amateur historian does by talking about beheadings during the French Revolution. And of course, that makes a lot of sense. At least here in Romania, we divide the two camps by calling the humanities and science and math the realities. So it's really logical, it's obvious that the humanities are going to make you more apt at handling humans. And in my opinion, the realities are designed to improve human life. There is no way that, like, a philosopher could actually improve human life at like a surface level more than an engineer who designs a really good product that's just completely new and revolutionary and just improves the world in that sense. But also, what's the point of improving human life to that extent if we do not even know why we are doing it? If we can't even understand our psychology, sociology, our own inner philosophy, which should be the base of it all. And that brings me to my third point. The improvement of society from the inside. ChatGPT is absolutely life-changing. Flying cars would be so cool. Getting to Mars would probably revolutionize human thought even. And vaccines are the reason, or probably the main reason, why we are able to indulge in the humanities, in sociology, philosophy, psychology, with as much ease and liberty as we are able to do now. But what's the point of it if we do not know why we are doing it? Because, let me ask you something. Is the improvement of human life a noble goal, just like from the get-go? Is that like the only thing we should strive for? Because we could improve it to a hilarious level. But at some point, we will stop being able to improve it. There is a point where the only thing that you really control is the humanistic side of it, where philosophy, sociology, your study of these things are the only things that will actually make you happy. And in my opinion, it's what you need to study in order to become a happier human being. And this brings me to my conclusion. The realities serve as an amazing way of progress, but without a humanistic base, we will probably just end up driving ourselves off the cliff into oblivion.